Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. I am here with CJK of peoplesreserve.com. You just left Discovery Crypto. Is that where you were before you came to visit me?
Doing the round robin today.
I love those guys, man. I actually, DZ's one of my favorites. So you were in good company, and now you're here with me in the Crypto Crow crew. So notifications will start going out and everything, and we're basically going to be live right now on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X.com. So I'm sure chat will start getting interesting as people start getting notifications. So anyway, I mean, this is technically a sponsored interview, but this was from a while back, and you've been just busy. You guys came to me and you said, hey, we really want to do something with you. We want to get on board, but we don't want to come on until we're ready. And it looks like you guys are about to explode with something. And I've got your website, which I'll show that real quick just so that everybody can kind of see what I'm talking about. But I guess we'll start. There are a couple different directions I kind of want to go with this. But initially, tell me a little bit about yourself. It looks like you've been in Bitcoin for 11 years.
Yeah, actually, this is I'm going on my 13th year this July, so it's been a hard minute. I first got into Bitcoin. I met this guy Jeff Berwick, calls himself the Dollar Vigilante, and at that time, I had been in school. I've been studying finance. Well, actually accounting and then finance. And when I met him, I started learning things that they didn't teach me in school. So I was like, this is weird. You know, this is interesting. It piqued my attention. So he started telling me about Bitcoin and Austrian economics instead of the Keynesian economics they teach you in the curriculum, in the college curriculum that they apply at banks. And it just really, it seemed more common sense to me than the what do they call it? The intellectuals, right? The guys who are too smart for their own good, trying to make print money out of thin air and create value out of thin air, versus an economy that does work on common sense. So that intrigued me, and I started getting into Bitcoin. And of course, I got into Bitcoin like most people do, thinking, you know, I'm just buying this to make money. I'm buying this to get rich. Like I don't. There's that one song. I wish I knew what I knew now when I was younger, because if that was the case, I would have been a lot more responsible stacker of Bitcoin. But over the years, I like to say it this way. I went to the bottom of the rabbit hole. I planted some TNT and I went deeper. And then I got into mining. I developed the Bitcoin fair value algorithm, which miners use to manage their treasuries through the halving and difficulty adjustment cycles. And then that really helped me understand like Bitcoin as an engineered money. As a strategically designed asset that leverages the natural laws of economics to store value over time. And I didn't get that before, but that really accelerated me. And then with the advent of Ethereum, I was in the Ethereum ICO. DeFi really, like, Ethereum was gas in the beginning, right? The narrative they have now is just backwards, but they were gas to manage my money, which was Bitcoin. So I was going to bridge my Bitcoin and use smart contracts to manage my money and to earn interest or to lend. And that was my cup of tea. That was like, I was the most interested in that. So I wish I invested in DeFi. I really had just put in a few thousand here, a few thousand there, just to play around with it. You know, I don't think anybody at that time really knew what it was going to be. But for me and for People's Reserve, that's what this movement is. Not just about free market money. Bitcoin is free market money. But if there's a small group of men that can state the price of that money, that's not a free market money. You need free market interest rates in order to have free market money. So you can't have one without the other. So at People's Reserve, it's our mission to empower responsible savers of Bitcoin to unlock the purchasing power of their Bitcoin without giving up ownership. And we do that through our different lending products. But also our secondary mission is to completely detach from the TradFi yield curve, completely detach from stated and anchored interest rates to create a true free market yield curve of the digital economy, where the rates are based on the supply of money, demand for loans, and the perception of counterparty risk. And the fact is, when you post Bitcoin as pristine collateral, you are mitigating risk to the extent that risk turns negative. And that's why all the traditional guys, they try to plug negative risk into their models, and it breaks their models. There is no such thing as negative risk in a circulating credit market. But in a commodity credit market backed by the most pristine form of collateral in the world, there is negative risk. So our secondary mission is to redefine the true risk-free borrower, who's the responsible saver of Bitcoin, and the true risk-free rate of return, or the risk-free interest rate, which is based on a negative risk produced by Bitcoin as an engineered money posted as collateral. And we couldn't be more.
Oh no. He was on a roll and something happened. I think he should be able to just click right back in. As I'm listening to him talk, I have all these questions popping into my head. I have mining questions. I want to ask him about the, is he back? There he is. Okay, there you are. Yeah, you were talking and then bam, you were just instantly out like a light switch.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But what you're saying is bringing up a lot of questions that I have. And I want to go back real quick because we're going to dive into a bunch of this. We have plenty of time. But the one thing that you mentioned was Bitcoin mining. And I'm curious. So I used to be in mining. Okay. I used to have a co-located facility in Siberia. Right. And I've done a lot of calculations over the past, and everybody talks about the Bitcoin halving, right? The hard algorithmic halving, but nobody ever talks about the Bitcoin hash rate halving in terms of like almost every, oh, he's gone again. Well, I'll continue asking the question. Is basically what I want to find out is nobody ever talks about the Bitcoin hash rate halving, which like every 6 months, basically there's a halving in Bitcoin. So yeah, whoever's messing with your internet, you got to smack them around a little bit. But my question's about the Bitcoin hash halving, because it seems like every 6 months there's a halving in Bitcoin, really, just in terms of how much is mined and like how much you're able to mine over a period of time. And nobody ever talks about that. And you don't ever really see that equated in any calculations for like mining yield or any of that stuff. What can you tell me just briefly? I'm just curious with your background, because that's one of the reasons I got out of mining. And it's why I stopped doing the co-located thing. It's just like everybody's selling equipment and they're like, this is your hash rate and this hardware will last like 3 to 5 years, but they don't tell you 6 months from now, like the Chinese, they have all the they control that market. They're using this higher hash rate hardware for at least 6 months before they're even releasing it to the public. Then you're on a wait list. There's such a process, and I feel like the whole thing's one big hustle. Enlighten me a little bit.
Yeah, so everybody knows about the halving. Almost nobody knows about the difficulty.
Oh, goodness. Did he have these problems on Discovery? I bet he didn't. He'll pop back in. Maybe we'll just start doing everything through quick Morse code. Yeah, I don't know. My connection's been pretty good for a change, so I don't know what's happening.
I just switched.
Good afternoon, Crypto Princess. How are you? Welcome to the live stream. And just so everybody knows, I'm going to be going live independently after this interview is concluded. So I've got a lot to talk about. I just posted a big whopper on Twitter that I'm sure isn't going to, man, I'm supposed to be in a long trade right now, and I'm not, because I wanted to prep for this interview. And I was long at like 3 a.m. And yeah, I ended up getting rid of that and closing out of it at profit. But anyway, you were saying before you were cut off.
I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, so everybody knows about the halving, which happens every 210,000 blocks. Nobody knows about the difficulty adjustment, which happens every 2016 blocks.
Right.
And if miners are finding blocks at a faster than a 10-minute pace, difficulty will increase. If miners are taking longer than 10 minutes, difficulty will decrease. So I like to think of the difficulty adjustment as the central bank of the Bitcoin network, right? When the economy gets too hot, they'll start to raise interest rates to cool it down. If the economy slows down, they'll lower interest rates to help speed it up. Well, the difficulty adjustment does that through code. When the Bitcoin network is growing too fast and too hot, it'll raise difficulty, which cuts profitability, which slows down hash rate growth. On the
Dag nabbit. Yeah, it's everything's pumping right now, and I'm like I'm totally missing all this price action, but that's okay.
Um,
Are we having fun yet?
what is going on here? They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know about the difficulty adjustment.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is.
They can't give
They're
up the
messing with you.
difficulty adjustment. But so when that difficulty adjusts, it could actually reduce the cost as well. So if it reduced downwards, hash rate is actually incentivized to rejoin because profitability is increased. So the difficulty adjustment is a metric that many people don't understand, but I think that's one of the things that makes Bitcoin engineered money. I believe we get higher lows because as hash rate goes, difficulty goes up. As difficulty goes up, cost of production goes up. And free market price discovery, the way that works is the cost of production is fair value, right? We vote with our money. And if you're not willing to pay a price above the cost, that is you casting your vote saying that, hey, the value proposition of your good or service is not worth it. The value proposition of what you're offering isn't worth it. So we refuse to pay that price. And that's how free market capitalism outcompetes socialism, where they use stated prices and price controls, because now we have a way to vote, which helps us allocate resources so that we understand where to expand supply, and then where to take away resources to focus other resources on proper supply expansion. Bitcoin perfectly leverages that natural law of economics to drive value into the network, not only to the upside, but then to protect sustainable growth to the downside. So it really is an unbelievable technology. I like to call it's savings technology. And then when you take that technology and you plug it into finance, finally, after 80 years of
Oh boy, oh boy. Well, at least we know he'll be back in a couple seconds. I have to look and see what price action I'm missing real quick. Oh yes. Cardano's up 6.2%. It's getting close to 60 cents again. Crazy.
they really don't want you to know about difficulty adjustment.
Nope, they don't want us to know, man. They don't want us to know about People's Reserve.
That's right.
It's
by the way, I apologize to all the listeners out there, and I appreciate your patience. I have no idea what's going on. I put my hardwired LAN cable in, so I just cannot.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're like very pixelated. It's almost like you're on dial-up, and there he went again. Oh man. Yeah. So I will be going live after this because there's obviously a lot to talk about in terms of the price action. I've been trading so hard. I've been like, I posted in cryptocrow.io, I posted a breakdown of a setup that I discovered. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say I discovered it. It was basically a system of Confluence for 15-minute chart trades, and it's been working every single morning. All righty. You look a little clear at the moment.
Unbelievable. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that is the kicker with this, with what's going on here. That difficulty adjustment creates this engine.
Oh man. I wonder if maybe he needs to just, maybe if he reboots the computer, he might have some other software going. Powers that be don't want us to be free. That's very true. And I will announce real quick that I want to thank Flux Charts for becoming like one of the first official Crypto Crow sponsors I've had in a long, long time. Because of Flux Charts, I'm probably going to be going live every day, at least throughout this month. And if you like that, make sure you check out the link in the description for Flux Charts. And you can use the code if you'd like for 15% off. It's an indicator suite. I'm going to be showing everybody how to use a lot of really cool indicators and things. And if you really like me going live every day, if you can, and you're trading, make sure you support my sponsor, Flux Charts, because that's a really big deal. And also, while we're waiting, you can check out People's Reserve, and they're not doing anything right now. They're coming soon. But throw your email in here and be a part of their newsletter and basically become a part of that so that you can kind of stay on top of what they're releasing and what they're launching. And hopefully, I'm assuming he's probably rebooting his computer right now. And when he comes back, we'll dive into this more. Because I mean, I have questions, and I think something like this is pretty interesting. I've actually read up on a lot of this before the interview, so I kind of have a little better understanding as to what he's doing and what they're preparing to launch than we've been able to dive into yet. So yeah, check out the link, or yeah, you can check that out. Crypto Chef is always on point. And yeah, there's the link for my flux charts. And I am going to be doing individual tutorials, and I'm going to be doing a lot of content using flux charts here in the very near future. So I can't tell you how grateful I am for their support, man. They really, really have helped. And I think I'm one of the first streamers that they've ever sponsored. And I think they're starting to, you're probably going to start hearing about them a lot more as I connect other influencers and other people on YouTube. So you caught alive. Welcome, Hodl Harmony. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Once this interview is concluded, I'm going to be going live, and I'm going to be talking about price action charts. I'm going to be talking about what's going on with Cardano. I'm going to touch base on my X post. I just posted a huge thread about my true thoughts about everything related to Cardano and Charles and the divide and just everything that's going on right now in Cardano. I think it's time we rise up above all of the bull. Loving all the new content on your website. Thank you. I mean, my CryptoCrow.io is where I'm able to actually start posting content that you're not going to find on this YouTube channel. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal, and I'm actually really enjoying it too. I've got some AI automations coming. I've got a lot of stuff coming. I've got a lot of stuff scheduled. If you happen to be in the mortgage business and you're trying to build a business as a loan officer, I've got a tier I just added, and I've got content loaded up for that through October. And it really will help you become a top loan officer in your market. I mean, if you do what I say in these articles, you're going to do very, very, very well. And I'm even thinking about making myself available to branch managers again as an independent consultant, and I might start doing some remote coaching for branch managers and loan officers, because I mean, I basically doubled the volume of 2 different branches in like 6 months, and broke a lot of records and things. And man, that knowledge still isn't gone. It's still here. I just, I discovered crypto, so I just stopped working with it. I'm going to see if there's a follow-up in chat about, oh no, sorry, gentlemen. Glad you got it all together. I lost power in the area. Okay, so that sucks. I guess we'll give it some more time. We'll give him a little bit more time. I don't want to close out and have him pop on, because I mean he is a sponsor, so I don't want to but getting schedules together isn't always easy either. Is it hard to become a loan officer? No, it's not. I mean, it really kind of depends on what mortgage company you work for. You either need to get a license, which you'll make more money if you get your NMLS license done. But if you're not licensed, there are a lot of mortgage companies that can hire you. You just have to do a lot of compliance crap. I mean, I felt like that was almost daily. You have to do a lot of compliance exams and things. All right. He is back, ladies and gentlemen. I was assuming that you probably just rebooted your whole system, but I got a note saying that the power went out in your area.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I did just reboot. I hardwired my LAN. I guess if it happens again, Crow, we'll have to figure it out a different time. My apologies to you and your audience for these technical difficulties.
Considering we've got 30-second increments, when is, so I noticed I've got your website up, and you're basically just, you want everybody to sign up with their email. When are you, like, what specifically are you launching, and when are you anticipating the launch, just so that people kind of get the gist immediately?
Yeah, absolutely. So July 4th, we're taking back financial freedom and declaring financial independence. And that will be the day that we do our PRN loyalty token sale. So with our products, especially our Bitcoin powered mortgage, you can get a Bitcoin powered mortgage at a 3.5% interest rate, 3.5%. That's 100 basis points lower than the U.S. government.
So is this going to be a platform where I can borrow against my Bitcoin, and then is that basically?
Absolutely. But what makes us different is we've innovated and we created a new contract that mitigates price volatility based liquidation risk. So I like to talk about it like in the COVID example. Everybody remembers that massive volatility in COVID. When price was at 10,000 in COVID, goes down to 5,000. If you're with a regular lender, you're getting a margin call. If you go to bed and you don't make up your mind whether or not to post that margin, or even if you post margin but it's not enough, overnight price went below $3,500, you're liquidated. You've now lost the most important asset on your balance sheet. A couple months later, price is right back up to 10,000 before it goes to set new all-time highs. At People's Reserve, that's a horrible value proposition. So we've introduced variable interest rates into our contract. So what we do, number one, is we cross-collateralize the real estate with the Bitcoin. It's not just lending against your Bitcoin on margin, like it's a risk on tech stock. It's cross-collateralized with the real estate. So what that does is it allows us to adjust your interest rate and not liquidate your Bitcoin. So if during the COVID example, you were borrowing from People's Reserve, price goes from 10 to 5,000. For every 10% price drop in Bitcoin, your interest rate increases by half of.
Shit. This is the good stuff, folks. You know, oh man, he launches in 2 days. Man, oh man. Yeah, this is good. This is getting good, man. I'm like, I'm with this. I'm like, don't stop cutting out, damn it. I want to know.
It's insane. So 10% price drop, half a percentage increase. Price drops from 10 to 5. You go up 2.5 percentage points. And then as Bitcoin price recovers, you get those percentage points knocked off again. So price goes from 10,000 to 5,000. For a couple months, you pay a higher interest rate payment. Right. Then when Bitcoin goes back up, you're right back to your original interest rate payment. You have not been.
Oh, this is so frustrating. He'll be back, but dang on it. I almost want, well, yeah, it's not my stream platform. It's not me. I just think it's the power in his area, which sucks because I'm in Florida. He's in Florida as well. And luckily I'm fine, but it has been raining. So that's the one thing that kind of sucks about the internet around here is when it rains, typically the power cuts out a lot, and it's a problem. That's why I've got backups for backups here, because you just never really know. I've got solar, I've got all kinds of stuff, man, because everything needs to work in this place. Let's put it that way. So yeah. Well, anyway, I mean, this sounds good. Actually, I'm curious about this, and one of the reasons that I've been interested in this interview is because if you've got Bitcoin and you're looking to buy a house, I'm looking for an outlet.
If this doesn't work, Crow, I think we'll have to revisit.
Okay, no problem.
Volume.
So let's say I have a Bitcoin, right, and it's worth 108 grand right now, and maybe in October it gets to 300,000, right? Or December or whatever. And I do a loan against that Bitcoin. Is it like a 4-to-1 ratio? Is it like a 2-to-1? Like, what's the ratio for me to be able to borrow against it? And then what happens? Like, what's my interest rate then? And what's the interest rate if it drops 40% and it stays that way for like 2 years?
Yeah. So to initiate the purchase,
I lost your audio. I see you, but I lost your audio. I heard you before, but then it cut out.
Mic check.
No audio. I haven't changed anything on my end. It's those daggone Discovery Crypto guys sabotaging my interview, man. DZ, I'm coming for you, dude. Yeah, I'm getting no ad. I was hearing you as soon as you popped on, and then it just disappeared.
How about now?
No.
Mic check.
I see your lips moving, but no, I can say, what about now? But I'm not hearing it.
Mic check.
No.
Mic check.
Nope. Is it, you can nod. Is it raining where you are? Is that what's causing the power out? Because it was raining here earlier.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right. So let's do this, man. I mean, I normally probably wouldn't do something like this, but I am genuinely interested in this and I want to know more, damn it. So we're just gonna have to wait until there's no storm and bring you back. Maybe we can check on the 4th. I don't know what your schedule's like on July 4th, but maybe either the 4th or the 5th, we bring you back and you'll have launch so people can start taking action if you want. I'm still kind of grasping the concept of all this, but I'm very genuinely interested. And as long as Alex Mashinsky isn't a friend of yours, I'm willing to, pay attention. So, so let's just do that. We'll call this. I'm going to go live on a new stream, and then yeah, man, we'll just bring you back in a couple days and hope it's not storming at the time. Otherwise, we're really SOL. Does that sound good?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Good deal. So for you guys out there that you've been paying attention, I know your interest has to be piqued. I know mine is. Just check out peoplesreserve.com. Always try to support the Crypto Crow sponsors if you can, or if you're genuinely interested. I'm going to be going right back live here in just a minute, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you, guys. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Why isn't it letting me end stream? There.